We're here at the Tank Museum and we're in one of our vehicle conservation stores. This is where we keep all the vehicles that aren't currently on display to the public. The museum here started way back in the 1920s. It was really a teaching collection for the army. And to this day, we still have that role with the military. We still use this collection to teach the current serving soldier. We are obviously a big public attraction. Lots of people come here and see the historic armour. But we're also, and many people don't understand this, we're also still of use to industry, Ministry of Defence, and various other types of defence contractors to come and look at how things were done in the past and what they might learn from the vehicles we have, what examples might be taken forward into the modern era, and perhaps what some of those ideas that didn't work in the past, how they might be made to work in the future. So this collection is very much a working collection on many different levels. Some of the examples of how industry uses us is that, for example, if you're doing an upgrade on a project and the vehicle that's in service is in a foreign country, it might be worth looking to see if that particular vehicle actually is in the collection here at the museum. We've got over 300 vehicles, lots of variants. So instead of flying out to the Far East all the time, come to the Tank Museum and have a look at our vehicle to see if your project, if your addition, your upgrade might actually work on the vehicle we have here. So companies have done that and they're still doing that. We've also got a massive archive and library. So within that archive and library, we have user manuals, design drawings, all sorts of literature, including testing and reports that again could still be contemporarily relevant to what you're about to be doing with that particular bit of kit, or in general terms. And so DSTL, they host their protection conference here, and as part of that they look at our archive and library so people can understand what we've got, and they also look at the collection with a view, let's see how protection was done in the past. Are there ideas that again didn't work then but could work now, or ideas that with new technologies we can revive, we can go back to. So the collection's there, many different uses. One of the other things you can see within the collection is there's a lot of problems and issues and questions that are asked of industry and the military today that of course have been asked in the past. These problems occur. Finance. What happens in a period where there's not much money to spend on, for example, a vehicle fleet? What does governments put their money into, and what does the military want to put its money into? And again, if you look through the collection, there's been periods in the last 100 years where that has been really exactly the same problem as today. How are we going to make a fleet of vehicles go on longer? How are we going to make them achieve what their aims are in a cheaper and more sustainable manner? And again, you can look at the collection here, 20s and 30s, Britain was in a very similar position. We didn't want to spend much money on the military. How were we going to develop our armoured fleet, our armoured vehicles, all the vehicles in the modern military without having to bankrupt the country? So again, if you look at the collection there, you can see issues that, and how they've dealt with those issues. Do we go, for example, with high-spec vehicles, or do we go with perhaps a cheaper, lower-spec vehicles? Do we go out there and actually buy something off the shelf, or do we purpose design something for the problems we're facing? And again, they are not new issues. What we're standing in front of now is a couple of the vehicles that have only recently arrived. These are CVRT variants that have just come out British Army service. And it's a good example as well of how we're of use to industry, because of course there's quite a number of CVRT coming on the market and quite a number of countries are still using CVRT. So the fact that British industry is no doubt going to be doing upgrades, add-on packages for these fleets of vehicles, which will no doubt be in service for many years to come around the world. So there's an opportunity as well, that come and have a look at the ones we have here. And don't forget, of course, CVRT is still in service with the British Army. Scimitar is going to be soldiering on for a fair few years longer. One of the things that we're obviously very aware about here is our military heritage at the Tank Museum. But one of the other sides of things that we're using this collection for is also encourage a new generation to get interested in what's now known as the STEM subjects: science, technology, engineering and maths. And by bringing young people, whether they're engineers or school children, around the collection here, getting them enthused and fired up about the subject, that means that they can go away with perhaps not even realising that actually this is a career path or something that they would like to take further and be more involved in. And again, that's where a place like a museum such as ourselves, it can inspire, it can encourage, it can educate a new generation onto what are obviously nationally important issues.